All right, all right. Welcome back to Eyes Open Media. Hope you guys are doing well. Prophet John here. And yesterday we had something trending, and it was this. Okay, Barack Hussein Obama, best president ever. Appreciation Day. Everybody went on Twitter. Not everybody, but a lot of people, millions of people on Twitter, saying how much they miss their symbol, their hope symbol, Obama, right? Because that's what we all care. That's what we care about. I did a video about it the other day. Said all the African American and ADOS people, the descendants of slaves, all they care about is symbols, signs, pictures, hope, protests. That's it. That's all they care about. No real actions, no real laws, no nothing to actual tangible to actually change their circumstances. It's just symbols, symbols and signs. Best president ever. We miss you so much. Like there was people in there talking about he's kind, he's courteous, he's loving, he's intelligent, he's a great speaker. Nothing intangible to change your situation. I mean, all day long yesterday, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it was. Appreciation Day for Obama because he was a symbol and a sign for the African American ADOS people. That's it. That's all he was. He did he cut you reparations? No, he didn't. He had 8 years and he couldn't do an executive order for reparations. Are you kidding me? I thought he loved his people. If wouldn't any one of us, if we became president, wouldn't we have cut reparations within the first 90 days? Like that I mean, wouldn't that be so obvious? He didn't do it in 8 years, and you didn't hold his feet to the fire either, because he was your symbol. He was your hope. What about justice reform? Did Obama do anything about that? Did he really do anything about justice reform? He got some people out before he left. Ooh wee, right? He didn't overhaul justice reform for his people while he was in 8 years. He didn't overhaul that wicked system of in the justice system, the unfair justice system that goes against African Americans and minorities. And puts us in prison for 20 to 30 years for petty crimes, while other races, Asians and Caucasians, get 5 years for the same crime. He didn't overhaul that. What about our communities? Did our communities get better under Barack Hussein Obama? No, they did not. Chicago was a war zone when he left. Baltimore was in riots. He called them thugs. Remember, he called the Baltimore rioters thugs. Because some of you guys are complaining that Donald Trump said that the Antifa, George Soros paid Black Lives Matter people that why are you calling them thugs? Barack Obama called those groups of people thugs as well, and you had no problems with it. Maybe you did. I know I did. I did, but I didn't know that they were funded. I don't think back then I knew they were funded by George Soros and them. So I had a problem with it. I think other people spoke out about it and said that's not cool. But we didn't know. A lot of us didn't know that George Soros was behind that stuff back then. And maybe we did. I don't remember. I know we probably talked about it on the Eyes Open Media Facebook page maybe back then. I don't know. I can't remember. But the streets, your streets, your ghettos, your hoods. Where was the massive reconstruction of the ghettos and hoods? Where was the infrastructure projects? Where was Barack Obama with the infrastructure projects for the hoods and the ghettos, and to clean those things up, and clean up the rundown schools, and rebuild the libraries, rebuild the schools, rebuild the towns and the communities, and re-educate the people so we can have jobs, and be able to be trained on things? Where was all that? He didn't do any of that. Well, why wouldn't he? That is not, aren't we his people? And some of you guys are gonna say, "Oh, well, he's biracial. He doesn't. His people are Caucasian are his people. He's biracial. He didn't want to do nothing for the African Americans. He chose no. He didn't do nothing for the. He didn't do much for the Caucasians either, except for the elites. He printed money for QE1, QE2, QE3, and allowed the stock markets to go skyrocketing high so that the elites and the bankers could make a lot of money and profit. He made sure the bankers and the elites had money, but the Caucasians, they did okay under Obama, but they not like he went out of his way for them. You know what group he went out of his way for? You guys already know. The LGBT, right? Obama poured his heart and his resources and his money into that group to build them up and build them into an army where that now they literally go after people on social media, and they can destroy people's careers and lives on social media, right? So they become and that's all Barack Obama's doing, by the way, right? He's the one that funded them using Soros' money and other people's money and the government's money to fund the LGBT community, and put money and resources behind them to make them a powerhouse, right? And then you saw Hollywood, because of that. You saw Hollywood start promoting that stuff on everything. Now you see commercials about it. Everything now is LGBT, right? It's everywhere now. You can't even hide from it now, right? So that's because Obama did that. You know what also Obama did? Obama signed an executive order protecting the police officers. Remember that executive order? I remember it because I was talking to my coworkers at the time in the government. I was as a government contractor, and I was telling them that this is not going to be good. This is not going to be good, especially for African Americans, because it gives police the complete protection over wrongdoings and things. So what happened after that executive order? You started to see a lot of police shootings against African Americans and ADOS people. They would stop you at the light, and then boom, you're dead, right? And they would walk scot free, or they would choke you out, and they wouldn't get any jail time, right? Because the Barack Obama, your sign, your symbol, your hope, signed that into law. I think that was 2014, 2015. You can look it up. And Barack Obama signs a police protection executive order, or whatever it was called. And I told my people, my coworkers, this is not going to be good for us. This is not going to be good for us, because that means that the cops are going to be able to do what they want and get off scot free. And that's exactly what happened to most of the cops. They got off scot free, for routine traffic stop. They would blow your head off, and they wouldn't face any jail time. Oh, he had a phone. Okay, never mind. He had a phone. There you go. Let him go scot free, right? Right? And so what happened was, because of this executive order, a lot of the KKK members and white supremacy and all these other supremacy groups that hate African Americans and ADOS people came into the came into the to the cop academies, because they knew they were going to be fully protected. So while you're out there screaming Black Lives Matter and all this other stuff, and you're funded by Soros and Antifa, this is the man that put you in that position. But see, you don't know, you don't read executive orders, you don't know the laws, you don't know justice reform, you don't know anything. Right? You're just out there, Black Lives Matter, because that's what I saw on NBC, on MSNBC, and Fox, and all of the New World Order's media stations, the brainwashing stations. That's what I saw. So I got to go out there. You don't know that this is the man that the reason why you're outside. This is the man that signed that executive order to give cops full power and protection. He won't tell you that. It's in the executive order, though. Look at when that executive order was signed, and then look what happened after that executive order. Strings of just police just killing people at will, not even caring. Why? Because of that executive order. They had full protection. And yet you're praising him. Yesterday you were all praising him. Praise Obama, idol worshiping Obama. We miss you. We miss you. You weren't you? Wasn't Ferguson under Obama? Flint, water crisis, Baltimore riots. He called them thugs. Chicago gang violence. Guns showing up in Chicago's alleyways under President Obama? Really? They were putting guns in alleyways and letting them go at it and shoot up the neighborhoods? That was under President Obama, wasn't it? We miss you, President Obama. Right? Yet you were still protesting during Barack Obama. You were still getting killed by the cops under Barack Obama. You couldn't get loans. His own people couldn't get loans. You still can't get loans now, right? You can barely get loans now, but under an African American president, you still couldn't get loans. Wow, I thought he cared about you. Oh man, no banking reform for African Americans, right? So that we can sort of level the playing field of getting loans, the same amount of loans as everybody else. Because of course, you know that African Americans and the ADOS people, we probably get out of one of us, and then out of 10 of them, right? For loans and stuff like that. So it makes us not be able to start businesses and get things out there because we one of us out of 10 will get a loan, right? 8 years. He never changed that. Never changed that to make that fair for you. You know, people are talking about, oh, I'm gonna get my Obama phone and free rent and free college. You ain't get none of that. You ain't get none of that underneath Obama. He didn't care about you. Well, and what did many of the politicians say? What did many of the people say in the African American community? The leaders. We tried to talk to Obama about reparations, and he would cut the mic off, or he would take his earpiece off and say he's done with the interviews. We heard that over and over again. The man did not want to talk anything about reparations for his own people. But that's the guy you celebrate. You know, he's become an idol to you. He's become an idol to you, a man that you were protesting during his time. You were doing everything you're doing right now. You were doing under Obama, but you don't want to remember that. You want to remember him as a god, as an idol. We miss you. You're doing the same thing now that you were doing under Obama, but we miss you, man. We can't believe we're under Trump. You're doing the same thing now. You're still in the ghettos. You're still in the bottom. You're still protesting. You're still getting beaten by cops. Cops still harassing you. You're doing the exact same thing under Obama that you're doing under Trump, but you miss Obama. Oh man, you won't wake up and realize that you have to destroy the system. They can place anybody in that presidency, and the same thing is going to happen to you until you break the system. How do you break the system? You have to change the laws, the regulations, the policies. You have to change the documents. That's how you change the system. That's how you break the system. By changing it. You have to go into the Constitution and change the things in the Constitution. Do you realize that police officers were created to protect Caucasians from African Americans? That's why they don't kill Caucasians at the same rate as they kill African Americans. Did you know that? Do you know anything? Like African Americans? Like, I mean, it's unbelievable. You protecting him. Why are you guys always protecting the Caucasians? Because that's what the police officers were created for. Hello. When the slaves went free, when the slaves were free, they needed protection against the slaves. They were the Caucasians because you were free. So they didn't know what you would do. They didn't know if you would come in and steal their stuff or whatever. You were free. You were no longer slaves. So the police were there to keep you away from the Caucasians. That's why they don't kill Caucasians, because they were created to protect the Caucasians away from the African American slaves or the Negro slaves. Hello, does anybody do history around here? Right? And so you go over social media and you're like, This is inaccurate, you just go down the list. Inaccurate information everywhere on social media. Why police won't do nothing, say nothing to you? Because they're not supposed to. They were created. They were created to protect the Caucasian people. And Caucasians know that. They're not going to tell you that because they stay on code. Ah, at least some of you guys know now, right? I'm going to repeat it one more time because some of you people are hard of hearing, right? The police officers in America were created to protect the Caucasians from the Negroes or the Negro slaves or the bronze people, the African Americans, the descendants of slaves. That's why they were created, because you were free. So they needed protection from you. Even though history shows that we weren't going to do nothing to them, but they still wanted protection from us. So they had they created cops. Oh boy, it's this guy is a symbol. This guy is an idol. This guy is a symbol of hope. Is there any change? No. Remember, he ran on change, but it wasn't change for his own people. It was change for the LGBT. It's time to change. And he was talking about the LGBT. He wasn't talking about the descendants of slaves, the African Americans, or the Caucasian, because he is Caucasian as well. We have to remember that. He wasn't talking about none of us. He was talking about the LGBT, right? And all his resources and all the funding that was supposed to go to the African Americans to rebuild our cities and streets and our libraries and our schools went straight to the LGBT community. And no, they did not give it back. No, they did not give that money back. They took it and ran with it, and they built an army to the point that you can't say nothing about them, or they'll come in and take everything from you. Right? That's where we are right now. But the fact that so many people don't remember, and they don't want to remember, right? They're doing this is on purpose. They don't want to remember what they went through under Obama those 8 years. They don't want to remember that. All they want to remember is the beautiful family that they saw on pictures and on TV, and the way he spoke, and the way his funny little dances, and yeah, he played basketball. Oh yeah, he mentioned Jay-Z and Beyonce. That's it. You ask him, what laws did this man pass to help us? What regulations, what policies did he change to help you for today in 2020? You're gonna say, I don't know. He just played basketball. And that's why you're in the streets right now. Right? That's why you're in the streets right now, because you love entertainment more than you love actual justice. You don't want change. You like suffering, right? You people like suffering because that's all you know is suffering. And so you rather be in the streets entertaining people, entertaining the world, right, with protests, than actually be in the buildings with lawyers and in the government buildings with military people and Congress to change the laws and change the stuff that affect you in a negative way. And that's terrible. Because everybody sees you, African American, ADUS people, as entertainment. That's it. You're entertainment to people. And they can join you in that entertainment. That's good. The moment you say that it's time to get in that courtroom, to get in those government buildings, to get with the lawyers, how many people are going to follow you? How many people are going to be out there with you? It's not going to be many. Because once you stop playing around, they're no longer wanting to be around you. I mean, think of it this way. You got friends, like some of you guys have friends, African American friends, who were serious about what they were doing, about their craft. And they were so serious about it that the rest of you guys and girls that were playing around with your lives, you started to take offense of his seriousness. he's always serious. He wants to be a lawyer, and he's always studying, and he's always going to the courtroom and studying, going to the courtroom, and he's always serious, man. Let's go have fun and joke around. It's like because he was serious. See, when we get serious, that's when people start to hate us. That's when people start to get irritated because all they know is entertainment. That's all they know. So when you get serious, people don't want to be around you anymore. He's always serious. You're talking about God, or he's talking about being a doctor or a lawyer or doing this and doing that. He's always serious. He's on his game. He's on point. I can't take it, man. He's always. I need to play. I want to play around and be silly and do all this stupid stuff. And that's the same way the world sees you. They see you as silly people of entertainment. But as soon as you stop being silly, as soon as you stop being their entertainment, you become a threat. And then they were like, okay, let's turn the channel. these people talking about courtrooms and changing laws. Uh-oh. Let's change the channel. At some point, we got to stop being the clowns and the entertainment for the world. And we got to get in those courtrooms and change those laws and those documents and those policies and those regulations. They're not going to be on our sides anymore, is it? The world won't be with us anymore. There's going to be only a few. Some people will ride with us. But 90% of the people that are out there ain't riding with us. 10% will be left when it's time to actually do the real work. See, they can clown around with you because you're the entertainment. They'll clown around with you outside in those streets and throw up posters because it's all entertainment. There's no action. There's no real change to protesting. If there were, then you wouldn't be protesting right now because they were protesting back in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s and 2000s, and now you're protesting here. If there was real change in protesters, you wouldn't be protesting because it would already been changed a long time ago when they've been protesting your entire lives, your grandmother's lives, your mother's lives. You've been protesting. That's why they're out there with you because they know there ain't no real change with protesting. They know it's in those documents and those laws and those regulations. When you get serious and do that you're not gonna. Those people are not gonna be there for you. Those people are going to be gone. They're gonna go do something else, and they're gonna prepare their race and their people for anything that you do to remove their freedom, to take away of their privilege. Only about 10% will be left. So you can still you could praise this man and say, oh, we miss you and everything like that, but you're still going to say you're doing the same thing that you were doing with him. You under the same situation. You in the streets, still getting killed, still fighting, still screaming, but you won't get in those courtrooms. You won't get in that government room. And you won't change laws and policies and documents. You won't go in that constitution and fight to change stuff in that constitution. Until then, this is gonna be the African American and the ADOS people every year, every other year, every 3 years in the streets protesting, screaming, "My life matters." Well, if it does, then get inside the courtrooms, get in those documents, and change laws. Don't make this thing a trend where it's a trendy and then all of a sudden within 3 months it's gone and you're back to normal. You didn't change anything. You just went on the streets and were entertainment for news agencies and the people around the world. Oh, look, African Americans in the streets acting a fool. Let's watch. Are they going to change any laws? Nope. Oh boy. Anyways, this is embarrassing. Anyways, it is what it is. I can't do nothing about it because I'm outnumbered. I am outnumbered. I'm telling people to let's get into the courtrooms. Let's get in these policies changed. Let's get the legislations changed and things like that. That remove that system that is keeping you down. But people are like, nah, I just want to go outside and put my mask on and look cool and take Instagram pictures. All right. Well, two years from now, you'll be back on the street again. Where our lives matter again. Cycle continues. It's going to continue forever until Yeshua returns, isn't it? Until we wake up and say, you know what, we got to get in those courtrooms. We got to get in those courtrooms. We got to change those laws. Oh, this is going to be our children's lives. Unbelievable. Eyes open.